biggest problem in.
Hey Jay, how you doing? God bless you. Welcome on here. How's your day going, by the way? Good. Looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to the church on Sunday. We've got prayer tomorrow. So yeah, doing good. Doing good. And how are you? Yes, I know you usually take break around this time, right? How long is your break for? Like the video as you come in. If you like the video, it'll get all the algorithm juices flowing, like I like to say. Hello, Big Daddy Roro. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Good to have you on here. Come on, everyone. Jump on. Let's have a conversation. Patiently waiting for the ETFs. Why are you going to buy ETFs, or you're just looking for your bags to start swelling because of the ETFs? That's good. What do you do, by the way? Did you ever tell me? Hey, Matt, how you doing, my brother, my friend from Saskatchewan? Yeah, well, I'm just waiting. I have a guest today, one of our members, channel members. But I want to, yeah, I just had finished a meeting with him. We're going to be talking DeFi, crypto strategies, and things like that. So yeah, he and I have been looking at certain things, working and preparing, And I'm going to be 1 year on YouTube tomorrow. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the month of November. I'm going to do some videos on Patreon. So if you're not following me on Patreon already, please go follow me on Patreon. It's AH for Truth on Patreon. November will be very lively on Patreon. I will do a lot of stuff on there. Yeah, so get ready, get ready, get ready. I waited deliberately for a year to now jump on the Patreon to do things. Again, I don't want to overstretch myself. So join the Patreon. Join the Patreon. You're waiting for your bags to swell. That's good. Well, with the ETFs, there's people saying, oh, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be a nothing burger. There's people who are like, oh, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be good. I've come to a point where I'm just watching things. I really believe that nothing really would make the kind of impact we're looking for, like generational impact, until we see the laws, right? Clarity, legal clarity. Yeah. So that's where, the minefield is. I also noticed that many of the channels that are crypto channels that are talking about the leading cryptos, the blue chip cryptos, they're facing a lot of difficulty. Either they're being banned, or they're being limited. I can tell that I've experienced that on my own channel. It's not getting the kind of like views that I used to have. It takes me like 24 hours to get to get 1,000 views now. Some 2 days to get a thousand views. So there is definitely something going on. I don't know what it is, but again, I can't say what I don't know, right? So I just have to say that's the reality. Like, look, we're stuck at 14. By this time, would have been about 30 to 50 viewers watching. So there is definitely something going on. One of my channel members in Germany said he doesn't know why he's not been getting the notifications. He doesn't even know when we go live. Okay, that's a good one. All right, I have Daniel Smith joining me in a second. Hey, Daniel, can you hear me in the back room there? Wave if you can hear me. All right. I'm going to bring him on. I just want to get a few more people on. So today we're talking about DeFi uh, and crypto strategies, and I'll have Daniel Smith join me. Daniel joined my channel a few years ago. Thank you, Kev481. And are you already there? I think you're following me on there, Kev, right? But so we had talked about a couple things, and I just admired the way that he does his research, and he's he's a mole when it comes to research. I really mean what I'm saying. Like, and he has his facts. He makes sure that he cross references, checks everything just to make sure he's not spewing nonsense. So I think he has a very bright future as far as being a passionate crypto enthusiast is concerned. So we will talk on the phone. He's out of Dallas. We'll talk on the phone. And about stuff. And so he's also a believer. So that's something I really appreciate. So I'm just going to pray. Father, we just thank you for another amazing day as we go into this time. Just bless our time together and lead the hearts and the people that are supposed to be on this time that we have on here, the next hour. Bring the right people in, and so that we can learn and grow together. Thank you, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, I'm going to bring Daniel in right now. Hey, Mr. Smith.
Hi, Pastor.
How you doing?
Boa tarde. Boa tarde.
Boa tarde.
I finally, after all this time, I've told you how to say it right.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, you type it. So how do you say it? Boa tarde?
Boa tarde.
Boa tarde. So it sounds like a J, right? E. Boa tarde. But it's spelled D-E.
Yes, sir.
And that's good afternoon, or that?
Yes, sir.
And good morning is what?
Bom dia. Bom dia. Bom dia.
All right, welcome on here. All right, so here we are. We have about 18 of you. Please like the video. This is how the algorithm picks it up and lets other people know that we're on here live. We're going to have a fantastic conversation. I'm also streaming live on Twitter. I haven't done much on Twitter, but I promised myself that once I'm 1 year on here, I'm going to go on to Twitter, or X, so to speak. Twitter is not the name anymore. Forgive me, guys. I hope Elon doesn't find me and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Okay, welcome. Hey, Tommy, how you doing? Good to see you. So let's start our conversation. I prayed already, and we had a prayer before we came on here, and it's been nice to see. I mean, do you think, Daniel, in all honesty, that certain channels aren't being limited? I mean, I'm not saying. It just looks like there is some kind of a limitation. You mentioned certain things, and it doesn't go viral. If I decided to do a belly dance right now, I might get more views. God forbid. But you know what I'm saying. So what's really going on? What do you think? That's where I want to begin.
I genuinely believe censorship, because we're on the platform, so I don't want to say, but the one that starts with a Y and it ends with a T, and it sounds like YouTube. They just settled with the current president of the United States for censoring, and then also they censored other YouTube channels, not even related to politics, religion, anything. So
yeah,
I think that is a thing, because you have like 12,000 plus subscribers, and you get multiple views the natural way and not buying.
No, I don't buy nothing.
Like, so you actually genuinely get engagement. So that is suppression.
In fact, it's funny because I've been approached by many different companies. There was a new wallet that came out a couple of months ago, 6 months, 7 months ago. They approached me. They wrote me several emails. I have several other ones, exchanges, asking if I would do business with them. Here's the thing. And I wonder, why are you coming to me? I have only 5,000. This was 3,000, 4,000. I started getting all those offers. But each time I would hear, "Oh, we're watching your channel and it's growing organically. You're not messing around buying bots and all that." I didn't even know you could buy followers. But it was organic, and it was 1,000 a month. In July we had 2,000 subscribers, and then in the last 2 weeks I've not had even up to 20 subscribers. It kind of just stopped. So it's obvious what's going on, but again, it's okay. I want to say thank you to all of you who share. So share this live. This is the first time in 2 days, and then just kind of destroy the like button, as some YouTubers who say. So our conversation today centers around DeFi. I want to start by saying, why am I talking about DeFi? Why have I suddenly just started talking about it a lot. Well, I've been involved in DeFi for the last little while. I'll say 2 years, but not as deeply as I would have loved to. And my reason is I am not as I do not take risk. To
DeFi
set
for dummies. I bought this like 2 years ago.
DeFi for dummies. All right. So I think we're gonna have a very good conversation here. Yeah. Hey, Warrior 1985. God bless you. Good to see you on here. I was reading something the other day, and I saw some research numbers that really basically took me aback. It said 58% of crypto holders, whether they're ISO cryptos or the leading blue chip cryptos, like in the top 20 or even more, 58% of them, including large bag holders, uh, aren't really doing anything with their crypto. They're not earning anything on their crypto. So you have crypto that's worth, because crypto is money, right? In a sense, it's a digital asset. Actually, not even it's money is a derivative of something that is an asset in this case. So 58% of holders aren't doing anything with their bags, and
That's
as a
a $4
result,
trillion asset class.
sorry.
And that's a $4 trillion asset class.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to hand it over to you in a second here. And I'm saying to myself, man, I was one of those people for a while, but I didn't realize that I was not the only one, even younger people too, because people are afraid of losing their money. That's number one. Two, people don't understand decentralized finance. They don't know what it is. Number three, they think, oh, I'll get to do it at some point, which I think is a mistake. The earlier you get into it and learn it, the better. And what else? Number four, just the fact that it's the same thing as not understanding. So those are the three main things: fear, not understanding it, and thinking that, oh, I have time, I can do it at some point in time, which is true, you can. But can you imagine what you'd have lost if you started earlier than wait till then? You don't even know what the rules are going to be. One last thing I'll say, and I'll hand over to Daniel. I figured that just like you had the cell phone and you have the landline, right? You still have landlines to this day, but it took a while. What if there is a coexisting period, just a natural coexisting period, or an artificial vesting period where they're like, okay, we're now all crypto and all that adoption, but the banks are still there, they're integrated and everything. Two-thirds of bank workers don't just lose their jobs overnight because they want to make sure that they drag it out for as long as possible for as many people to kind of drop out, and then you get the fireworks. What if XRP or XLM stays at $10 for a long time, $20 for a long time? Then it's no longer the generational wealth, except for people who have large bags. That's few. Look at the wallet description. So these are all the things that, it's like, all right, I'm going to be doing more of DeFi, because I was concerned about it, because DeFi, you're telling people, go and put your money into this. Well, not financial advice. Remember, anything we say here is not financial advice. This is just two people who are passionate about crypto, a younger man than myself, and myself, with people who are in their 60s and mid 50s. I'm telling you, we all have to come together, learn what we can, use our strengths to move forward. All right. Thank you for joining Lifestyle of the Snowbirds, Nick Locker, I see you there. Thank you so much. Now let me hand it over to you, my friend, and let's talk about DeFi first. Like, what do you see? What is DeFi? Why are we all suddenly talking about DeFi? Let's go.
That's a great point. And I want to demystify what DeFi is. It's decentralized finance. So it's everything that you would normally do of writing credit, going to a bank to ask for a loan, financing a mortgage, financing anything, any financial service. That's DeFi. And I was against DeFi for the longest time because I did not understand it, and I saw all the rug pull schemes. And right now, I've been investigating Flare Network for about 4 years now. And what Flare is doing is they are allowing smart contracts within the XRP, within Bitcoin, XLM, and other digital assets, where you still own ownership rights of your property, of your commodities, and then you can execute loaning those out, lending those out, and borrowing against them in order to earn yield, in order to grow money, in order to fund other business items for your business and your lifestyle.
All right. So having said that,
Mhm.
so why do you think? I mean, some people have said to me, okay, yeah, we know what DeFi is and all of that, just like you've described it in their own way, but we're just going to wait. I had a guy who was talking to me the other day about, well, I've had many prophetic dreams and all of that. And I said, look, we know in part, we prophesy in part. What about those people who know the part that you don't know? And God isn't going to do everything for you. You have to be able to go out there and, do certain things yourself. I always give the example of Peter coming out of prison, right? The angel brought him out of the chains through the two metal doors, steel metal gates. But on the street, at the street, the angel disappeared because he didn't need to guide him to where he should go. So, so what's your like? Why should people begin to look seriously into DeFi? That's 58%, and the number is growing because as newbies come in, there's been an explosion of wallets between 2020 and now. It's over 300% for most cryptos.
That's a great point. That's a great point. The reason that you need to get in DeFi, or I would encourage to get in DeFi, and the reason that I personally joined, I put 1/6 of my XRP portfolio into F assets, and you self custody mint that through the ledger or through Bifrost through self custody. And I saw the benefit of that because as XRP appreciates, you're earning interest on that on stable coins. That way, throughout the year, you're not forced to liquidate your assets. You've spent 5 to 6 years buying all the ISOs. You've bought all of the correct assets if you're in uh, AH for Truth's YouTube and Patreon page. So why would you sell that and then lose all the upside appreciation? Because XRP is going to go to $1,000 if you have strong conviction on it. If you're a mocker of it, I can't convince you. But if you've done your own research and you think it's going to a certain price, and you were to sell it versus earning yield and potentially borrowing 10%, like if you have $1 million and you borrowed 10% of that, $100,000 at 2% interest on Flare, and you went out and bought an asset that makes you 4 to 10% per year, that is tax-free money
Correct.
versus earned income, and you're paying taxes on your capital gains taxes of the 15 to 20%. So you have to think about strategies as like a bank would or an asset manager would. If you have 1,000 XRP, you have to pretend like you're a bank because you are a bank. That's why DeFi, you allow to become your own bank. If you have 500 XRP, you will be able to become your own bank one day if you use these tools to not sell your assets.
Exactly. For me, the way I look at it, right? Um, I already knew. I remember in 2022 when I had that revelation, and the Lord spoke to me about how there would be, it's like endless money was the word that how I would understand it, because I was writing an email. I've shared this with you guys several times here. And when you look at the DeFi platforms, it is indeed, it's just money that just continues to come. The way that this would happen, you see what how email is. If you understand email, you understand crypto, right? Your email goes like that. Boom, it's there. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's less a fuel on the gas, whatever, and it's cheap. Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense to study it, to get engaged. I have a question here. It says, should we be buying Flare? It's not financial advice. Exactly. Yeah, again, thank you for saying it's not financial advice, but I've been holding Flare for a couple of years now, ever since Flare came out. I remember when it came out, they went up, and ever since then the price dropped like you wouldn't believe it. But it's because of the ecosystem. If you're staking Flare, I mean, if you have wrapped Flare and you delegate it on the Bifrost wallet, you would find that you're getting the drops. I believe will stop in February, and then yeah. So you want to look into it. It's cheaper. There's a reason why Flare makes sense. Who is behind Flare? What is Flare all about? There's a video, I think it was Sister Sharon and Belief Bag, who were, she interviewed Belief Bag on her channel, and Kryptonite sent it to me. Say, have you seen this? I'm like, oh wow, that's great. It's like a 90, almost 2 hour video. I did enjoy watching a little portion of it. But like I told you, I said in November I'll be doing more of DeFi. I'll be looking at 5 DeFi platforms, and I will share them, but it will be on my Patreon deliberately, because I've just, I am currently, I'm very limited. I haven't added any new subscribers. Well, maybe 20 subscribers so far in the last 3 weeks. That's unusual. In the last year, it was been 1,000 subscribers too. And the more that I stay on doing things and sharing, there's so much more that will be shared. I just believe that there is something that is looking to hinder people from getting this information, so that they can become their own banks. You can be your own bank. Daniel said something earlier on about, if you had 10,000 XRP. I think before we came online, Daniel, you mentioned that even if you had 2,000, I want you to kind of drill down into that thinking, that mindset. Let everybody share in that. And please, I'll be watching for your comments. Go ahead, Daniel.
Because let's be honest, Pastor, there are so many people in this XRP army ecosystem, whatever that they want to call themselves, that are so misguided. They have 200,000 XRP, 300,000 XRP, and they're using that advice to sell somebody that has 1,000 XRP or 500 XRP or 100 XRP. You're not going to have the same strategy. So if you're listening to certain platforms where they only listen to people with 100,000 XRP, I'm sorry. If you have 20,000 XRP, you're beyond blessed. You have 10,000 XRP, you're beyond blessed. If you have 5,000, 2,000, you're beyond blessed.
Correct.
2,000 XRP at today's price, I don't actually look. I haven't looked in the last 2 months. I don't care about the price. Let's just say it's $2. So 2,000 times 2, $4,000, and that appreciates. All right, so that's $4,000, and then we always talk about the 3-bag strategy. But by the end of the year, with the ISO, Ripple swell, I mean, I can't point enough indicators of all the reverse carry trade. When President Trump, whenever President Trump was just in Japan, they signed a $490 million trade agreement, and Scott Bessent, the Treasurer of the United States, said, Japan, raise your interest rates. We're going to lower interest rates. It's more attractive for Japanese companies to take their money out of the U.S. market and bring it back home.
100%.
It's the same thing as yield, like with DeFi. That's finance, but we're just decentralized. Mm-hmm. What they do is if they can lend money in the U.S. for 4% and at home only do it for 1%, they'll always lend it in the U.S., make the money, and bring it back home. But if interest rates drop where they're compatible, they do margin calls on all the U.S. companies. Like read Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. He got margin called one time. A Japanese bank wanted their money, and they had to pay all of it back. So that's how it unwinds in finance. And the liquidity through XRP is the bridge through SBI, and we can go down the rabbit trail that way.
100%. Now, Lifestyle says here, I believe the average person probably has 2,000 to 3,000 XRP. You're correct. And I think that they say that number, your 2,400, I think they say is in the 10% of holders. I want you to understand that even though we all kind of tend to focus on XRP because I think it's the big dog leading everything, don't forget that there's XLM there. Don't forget there's XDC. Don't forget there's HBAR. Don't forget there's all of these. Don't forget there's XPR, the Proton Network, and all of this. One second, I know you're getting excited. And so I want you to know, just like Daniel said earlier, so a lot of us like to watch big channels because and people who have already they're millionaires already. And I'm nothing against anyone. I'm just saying, one thing I was taught when I was planting churches way back in the day, somebody said, if your church has 50 people and you want to get to 150, go to somebody who has 200 people in their church and talk to them, hang out with them. You're going to learn something. I remember a pastor of a mega church once, he said, people are always asking me how to grow their churches. He said, I did not grow from one person, 10%. I didn't have a church in a garage. His father had a church of over 20,000 people. So when he was going to start his church, on his first day, there was 1,000 people. and he only went 3 hours away from his own dad's church. So he says, I don't know the experience. I was born when I was born, my dad was already, at least he was being honest. He says, I can tell you things, but I can't tell you what it's like to start with 2 people. I can tell you what it's like to be in a home setting and have only 5 people listening to me preach and sweating. And I can tell you what it means like to have a prayer meeting in a basement when there's nothing. I can tell you what it means like to start from scratch. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, we want to talk about crypto strategies, and I'll just let Daniel. You had a thought you wanted to throw across, and then we'll talk about strategies. Yeah,
and that's right after this strategies. But 2,400 XRP. Let's be real. That's 10% of XRP holders. How many people in the world own XRP? So even if you own 500 XRP, how many people in the world own 500 XRP? And can then do DeFi and earn income. We're going into an economy as well where let's be honest, Amazon, they laid off 30,000 college degree people, not the factory. They laid off all the mid-management people, 30,000 this week. So we're seeing AI and animation. So if you aren't putting some of your resources into DeFi pools to earn income, that will be a lot harder to lose your job with no like streams versus build these platforms now. So whenever we're in an industrial revolution, like the fourth turning. So it's better to do things and prepare now. So then when things change, it doesn't affect you and your loved ones and your family.
Good. So let me ask a question to everybody. I was going to say something here, but I was going to tell you 3 things that hinder people from stepping into DeFi. And Daniel and I talked about this just before we got online. Sorry. And I want you guys to type out what you think is the biggest hindrance, that 1 or 2 or 3 biggest hindrances to people. Now, let's go for it. I'm waiting. I'm going to read the comments. What do you think is the biggest hindrance to people with respect to jumping into DeFi or even considering it? Why are 58? That's 60% of holders holding on to their gold, silver, and bronze and not looking to earn yield on it. Tell me. You guys have got 10 seconds.
And while they're going,
Yeah.
Pastor, you know what encouraged me to just dip my toe in?
Yes.
When you told the story of the 1 mina, where I took the 1 mina, I put it in the ground, and then so it's like, yeah, I'm just sitting here waiting for it. Win Moon, win Lambo, win Lambo, win Toyota, win Toyota, win Tundra, win Tundra.
Yeah.
And I wasn't learning the DeFi part. So it's like, even when the Lambo would have come, it's like, okay, then you're forcing to sell things, and then you're relying on the banks who already steal your paycheck all day and lend it 35 times.
You're right over the target. So Daniel got into DeFi. In fact, he bought meme coins because he heard me talking about it. Well, he didn't want to do it at first. He was just like me. I didn't care about meme coins, but I saw the opportunity and I felt that the Lord was saying, this is what I need you to do and teach people this so that they can do this. Because there's a lot of people, oh, I'm not going there. But if you can find the right ones and invest, it will accelerate you so you can get more of the other ones. Okay. Now, the other thing is, he also decided to do DeFi. And I remember you sending me a message and saying, thank you, Pastor. I just minted my first FXRP. Yeah, he was very confident. And then he really does his research. And this is why I really love this community. Those of you who are on this channel and you are members, I have made friends on here, people I really want to see in real life. Some of them have, one of our members drove 6 hours to come visit me. Matt is on here. Matt, are you still here? Say wave to me, please. And he took me out for dinner. I was like, I was going to pay. He says, no, I'm paying, and it was really nice. We had a great time of conversation and everything like that. And he's now on my Patreon. Well, he's been on my Patreon prior to even meeting in person. And we've been talking about this for 3 months, but we find that there's a lot of synergy because these are people with the same similar or same mindset, or even the same mindset going in a direction together. So while people are typing, I'm going to read why people are what's causing the cold feet. Okay, so let's go. Sean says, okay, I'll start with lifestyle of the snowbirds. Lack of knowledge. Sean E says unfamiliar, ignorance, fear of losing their money in an unregulated area. Thank you, Chris. Anne says lack of knowledge. Virtuous Woman says the unknown, lack of knowledge, fear of losing crypto without a doubt. Hi, everyone. Hi, Pastor Nixon Fernandez. Not knowing where to begin. I think people are scared of platforms going down and losing their coins, afraid to lose our crypto. Correct. Hey, Nixon. For me, the lack of regulations, fear of losing money, platform going bankrupt or collapsing. For example, Celsius went Toyota, hi Chris, and to be candid, I never knew what DeFi is all about. I simply don't know how to do it. Okay, so here's these are valid. I'm going to tell you the three things that come to mind, which we talked about prior to getting online on here. The first one I think is fear. The second one is not having sufficient knowledge, and the last one I think is just lack of regulation. People are like, okay, if there's no regulation, here's what I've come to see. People have already made money prior to regulation. People made money off Bitcoin. People made money. People became multimillionaires. You see, when regulation comes in, it'll be too late for some people, but not those who are already holding. I don't think so. Also, if you are not in it now, you might not be grandfathered in. So here's what I would say. How do you operate now? And let me know. You're free to disagree with me. Daniel. But so how do we invest in crypto? They say, they say invest what you can afford to lose. So let's say you've been putting away money for 3 years, and you were putting like $150 every month, which if you lost, you'd be fine just one time. But you put it to get, you've been doing it for 3 years. Well, you've bought quite a number of crypto over time. Now there's people who have way more money who, if they lost 10,000, you know what? It's okay. It's because investment is a risk. Why don't we just rinse and repeat? Do the same thing with DeFi. You are not afraid that your XRP would disappear. You bought cold wallets, not afraid that somebody will go through the back door to buy it. Life is a risk. When you walk out of your house, you're taking a risk. When you got on a bike, when you went horse riding and you never ridden a horse before, but you tried to do, you went in an air balloon for your birthday, all of these things are a risk. Your son just got his private pilot license, and you decided to go in the plane with him. My son is a trainee pilot, and I'm like, I don't know if I would ever be comfortable you flying the plane that I'm in. I'm asked, I don't know if your mom will be, because man. And when we went up for his first flight, I remember that I was just holding onto the seats, like if there was if anything happened, if that would save me. But you see what I'm saying, right? So, but we took the risk. And thank God we came back down successfully. And I ask him all the time, how do you feel when you're up there? Because I'm always like, oh, I hope you're safe. I hope you're safe. When he took his hands off and he was doing something like that, no, like hold on to the steering wheel. You know how we do when we're down here. But this is it. It's fear, right? So rinse, wash, rinse, repeat. Most of us lost money when we started, but we learned that, so in the same way, if you're going to approach DeFi, start with an amount. Now, if you have XRP and you bought 5 years ago, you bought 3 years ago, you are in profit. Please don't tell me you're not. You are in profit, whether it's 100%, but I think the minimum I would think would be 300%. Because if you're at 30 cents, 50 cents, now, not everybody is there. That's what Daniel was saying there. We're not all the same. But if we can understand the principles, I think we can make some moves. Why would you hold something that is, and if you had 10,000 or 5,000 XRP, you multiply by what you have today, you didn't have that before. What stops you from taking? Now, we're using XRP as an example. There is XLM. There is HBAR. Some people have a bigger bag of XDC. Investigate. Then you can take a third or you can take a tenth of your bag. Whatever you're comfortable with, please, you have to retrain, retool, talk to yourself in the mirror and say, I am an investor. And investors don't stop investing. I heard about an 86-year-old man who owns a lot of properties and he's building a brand new, I'm like, what are you doing that for? And he says it just keeps him alive. It keeps him young and refreshed. And he's looking to be 91 and he's not afraid of death. He said, if he comes, I'm done. But he's doing this not just even for his children. He just loves to see brand new buildings going up. He's been doing it. He's a billionaire. He's been doing it forever. And you see him walking on the golf course with young men and women playing, like swinging like you wouldn't believe it, right? Why? It's all, so it's all, in our heads. Like we get to a point. Why did you invest and then become paralyzed? What are you paralyzed for? If $50,000 is what you're afraid of losing, well, then put 5,000 in. It won't kill you, right? So that's where, and again, the other thing I'm going to say is you want to also research who's behind those companies, who's behind, like, so let me share this with you and then you can take over from me. You see, the other day I said, Ripple has 1,700 non-disclosures. Is it 1,750 or 1,700? Now they do something big, right? And then I said, that's one of the non-disclosures. For example, they put money into Flare that is undisclosed, but they put $90 million in MoneyGram that everybody knows about. The news reported it. It doesn't matter. That's why they were just, let's put 90 million here and see what happens. Why aren't they telling us how much they put in Flare? Why aren't they telling us their agreement with Flare? Because Flare came out and the first thing they're talking about and doing is the FXRP. They're going to do FX Bitcoin. Is it F Bitcoin? They're going to do XLM is going to come onto the Flare assets, right? And on and on and on like that. So Daniel, go for it.
And that's a great point, because I mentioned XRP because that's the one I like the most, but XDC, like XDC5, that's coming up. They partner with Circle. That's probably my second favorite one. But there's other, the reason that DeFi is important, and for example, that's a great point. So I'm just going to use 1,000 XRP as the baseline of this DeFi example. If you have 1,000 XRP and that's all you had, take 500 and put it in a cold wallet. Take 500 and mint it. This is what I would personally do. This is not financial advice. If I only had 1,000 XRP, I would take 1,000 XRP. I would put it 500 in a cold wallet until regulations. I would take 500 XRP and mint it through F assets on Flare, through Ledger. You can do that through your hardware wallet as well. So you still have self-custody. You would go through there through the Flare website. You go Flare website. Don't click on a random link on the internet. Go directly to their homepage. It's an AU, and they have like an Oracle daemon as well. And you click that. You send it to your Flare address. You mint it, and you can then lend it out and earn 5 to 7%. It varies. And our Flare, it's you get rewarded in Flare over the course of a year. And try that out. And if you don't like it, you can unmint it and get all the 500 XRP back that same 3 to 5 seconds. It's on escrow on the XRP ledger. You have complete ownership of it. The only way that you can lose your XRP is if you borrow against it and you don't pay that back and you use that as collateral. But that's what you have to do your research. Hugo Filion. I know there's the WebAuth wallet through XPR, not XRP, but XPR. Marshall Hayner, he used to work for Ripple and for Stellar. So there's other, and they actually have the hardest like KYC process in all of crypto, in my opinion.
In fact, I think it's the best. It's the best. WebAuth is the best wallet right now.
I agree.
Besides Rabi, which is an Ethereum EVM wallet, I think WebAuth is really, really. I remember one time when there was a lot of stealing going on. The only one they couldn't get into was WebAuth.
No, WebAuth is the best one for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so with respect to, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, that's why I was saying, like, one of my first points was custody solutions. So when you're looking into DeFi, you're taking it from a cold wallet to a hot wallet. You have to realize like what you're doing in the security protocols. So brush yourself up, like, hey, custody solutions. If you have to get a Ledger X, like, and do that. If you do it through Xamarin, you just have to make sure that you go to the Xamarin or the Ledger or the Flare YouTube channels and the direct pages on their websites and how to connect your wallets if you don't know how to do it, or schedule a 1 hour call with Pastor AH.
Actually, what I'll do rather than even the thank you for that one, but
Yeah.
I think what I would just do, my plan is as we enter into the first week of November, so
Yeah.
that I don't, whoever wants to learn it, I will just go on and I will show you step
Yes.
by step what to do. But
Yes.
I intend to do 5 different DeFi platforms. One of them has been around for 5 years, and just share. Let me just show you this for a second here.
And
So
that's a
this,
great point because that 500, if you do 3 different platforms, you can spread off like the 150 XRP in one platform, 150 and 150.
exactly. So this is, for example, Aave has been on for the last 5 years,
They're good.
and they have the largest lending network. Now, somebody was saying to me the other day, "Oh man, you're a newbie. How come you're talking about this just now?" Well, and I said, "What's wrong with people?" He says, "Oh, they've been doing this forever." People have this pride. They look. Here's the reality. When I first bought my XRP, the first day I bought XRP, I can tell you that the number of wallets at the time have now almost quadrupled. There was just a tiny minuscule of people who had opened XRP wallets, not to talk of XLM and all of this. So people do not understand that some people are just coming into this. You see what I'm saying? So people should just get off their high horses and understand that some people are just getting in. And so it says DeFi's largest lending network: earn, borrow, save, and swap with millions of users. Look at the number here: 65.87 billion deposits currently supplied in Aave. Be the first to hear Aave ecosystem news. Trusted by the best, Aave is used by leading institutions and companies. Who, if they told you that institutions are already trying these things, let's
Pastor, on
look
the bottom, that's JP Morgan Chase,
at
Monetary Authority of Singapore, like Fireblocks, Central Bank of Brazil. Or do you think these are unregulated platforms if the Central Bank of Brazil, JP Morgan Chase, and the Singapore Monetary Authority are the ones that are using Aave?
There you go. So I mean, you look at all this and you say, my God, like, you mean this already exists? And so people are now there's now opportunity for people to get in, like on the Flare network here, you can do a lot, Um, y- you know, um, Belief Bag shared this on, but
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
exactly
do
what
this
it is,
one.
Pastor. That's exactly what it is. So you on the exact website, that's where you would go. You don't click on any other link to mint your XRP into it. It's on the Flare website. You either mint in Oracle or mint in AU, and it's right there in the dashboard. You don't have to open it, Pastor, but that's exactly what you would click on.
No, once I open it, it goes straight to my wallet as
I
well.
know. That's why I said don't click on it. So I was like, yes, sir.
Yes, and then everybody can see what
Yes,
what
sir.
the business is, right? So you don't
Yes, sir.
want to do that, but I can, I have to get a complete separate ledger and stuff like that, and prepare to actually teach. Because once you try to teach people, that's why I think Belief Bag also couldn't show people everything, because the way it's set up is very proprietary. You would see everything that I'm doing, but I can walk you on a completely different shell account. Hopefully I
Yes.
can do that and show you how it's done. But I've prepared and written steps. One of my strengths is explaining things in a way people can understand. And I'll tell you, if you had, let me give you an example. This is like having a piece of land somewhere, right? And it's outside the city, it's in cottage country, but it's far from any cottages. Nothing has been built much there yet, but there's a few neighbors here and there, and there's a garage on it, like a shop, right? And you go out there with your trailer every summer. You go in and enjoy yourself by the lake, and people say, "Hey, you bought this land for 50,000. Can we park our trailer also by you here? Is that okay?" And you chose to allow them. So 5 people are parking. They're neighbors. They chose to park for whatever reason. They don't have enough space. It doesn't matter. Just let's imagine that. What's happening is that land is becoming useful because, not only can you rent the garage out for like $75 or $50, 150 a month, but you're getting all these people who park their trailers for $10 a night or $20 a night. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you may even be covering your mortgage, your lease, or whatever it is that you are paying to hold that asset, that property. You see what I'm saying? So that's the same way this thing is, and I think you do get it. A lot of you do get it, but for some people, it's like, it's nebulous. It's just out there. They can't understand it, And so you need to break it down in such a way that people can understand. And that's what I'm preparing myself for November. I feel that this will be like an open gate for people to come in and learn the DeFi space in a way that would be helpful. Let me tell you one thing about DeFi. Daniel touched on it, but I think you skipped it. I'm not sure if you wanted to expand on it, but let me say this. So in the DeFi environment, it's interesting. On Flare right now, let me even see. Go, hold on. I can tell you that. So the APY for FXRP is 5.05%. A few days ago, it was 5.85. So it fluctuates, right? But the reality is that you're making something. So if you choose to borrow, which again, I wouldn't recommend it immediately like that, the system is designed in such a way that it tells you, how much you can borrow, your health, everything is digitized, right? Your borrowing health and all of that. So, and your limits. So if you choose to borrow, this is the reality. You borrow. So let's do some math here. So you have 10,000 that you supplied, or five. Let me use 5,000, and you choose to, and you're making 5% on 5,000. Then you borrow $2,000, and you can use it within the system if you choose. But your borrowing rate is, your interest is 2.15%. You can't get that in the traditional bank. And this is why their legs are shaking. They're worried. But innovation always does that. And this is why there's so many non-disclosures, because they don't want people going out of the streets. Like the time when it happened for computers and typewriters, it happened with companies when there's a major change, organizational change management. What you are seeing right now is they're managing the controlled demolition of an old system and bringing in a new system. You see what I mean? So and we're saying you'll be your own bank. One more thing, Daniel, here is, as we go forward, it is my humble opinion that we're going to have people. I said that on my live yesterday to the members. I did a live yesterday for about an hour with members, and I said, we're going to see a situation where, just like, remember, you have to look at the past to get a key into the present and the future. In this city, there are over 800,000 people. Years ago, there was like maybe 2-4 dealerships. And then it's like 4. And after that, you can't get in. You have to have a 200,000 more people, or 100,000 or 50,000 more to get an additional dealership. And even then, you can get it. It's the people who already have the dealership agreements that they'll give the new ones to. They might have to compete for it. They might have to whatever. But you see what I'm saying? They want people who have experience and everything. Listen, it is my humble opinion that those who are in it right now, and they're able to take a little out of what they have to test it and learn it, will be the ones that will be grandfathered in. That's what I believe is going to happen. And I think I heard Sister Sharon on our Daily Bread and what's the other Belief Bag saying that. I've always held that opinion that at some point they're going to say, okay, well, because we are all testing the systems now. We are the ones where, like, it's like the guinea pig thing. We're testing everything out, but they're gonna, like, okay, you got airdrops. You also get to participate in this, but from now on, this is the number of once it's at this is the maximum amount. I don't think the door will remain open for a long time.
That's a great point on the grandfathered in, because if you already see some of the corporate strategies of Vivo Power, they are already executing their digital assets on Flare. And you're seeing more digital asset treasury companies coming out. So you're going to have micro strategies. I'm not the biggest Bitcoin fan, you know that, but it's the original. You're going to have more micro strategy type companies for other digital assets like HBAR, XDC, XLM. You're going to see those pop up, because the thing about DeFi is the people that have been hoarding these assets for 5 or 6 years without selling them. Because what's the point? Like a bank, think about how a bank would treat this. JP Morgan, they're not just going to buy Bitcoin, let it pump to $1 million, and then sell all of it off and flood the market back, and then lose all the upside, and then be cashed out, and then somebody else holds the asset. But with DeFi, they can get both the appreciation and the unlocking value through smart contracts, because that's the only thing. I mean, they have Codius, but XRP wasn't natively, that's the security part of it, wasn't natively a smart contract platform like Ethereum.
All right,
And
thank you. Yeah. So
no,
Joshua asked the question: is there a difference between the AU or Oracle? My wife mints on the AU. I mint on the Oracle, but
it's
I
just
don't. Sorry.
it's a different agent, but it's still going to be in your same wallet.
Exactly. And then, I prefer Kinetic because there's Enosis, there's other ones. But with Kinetic, that's where you supply your assets to get rewarded, with your annual percentage yield. But with Kinetic, you can borrow. That's the only difference. Okay. And these things are not difficult. Okay. So I hear people, I've been saying it's easy, it's easy, it's easy. But I realized I had a meeting with Crypto Night today and I thought, I have to change that. It is easy if you really know it, but it's difficult if you don't. So you've got to learn it. That's just it. So because it's very easy. Well, if people who have been engaged, who have been in this environment for a while, for some people, it's a lot to process. It's and so I'm going to make it. I do my best to make it easy on the on my Patreon. If you would like to join me there, please. Thank you for all of you who are already following me on Patreon. I appreciate you all. I will do more on there than on the member channel. And so I would recommend that if you wanted to join Patreon, that will be also, you'll find me on AH for Truth on Patreon. And I will have John, I said John, Johnny, it's because I saw Wen Lambo, I got distracted. I'll have Daniel with me also on some things. We'll just work and keep going together. But I want to tell you that it is easy, but it's not easy. If you do not know anything about crypto, it's not easy. If you do know something about crypto, you've been following my channel or other channels, learning from around, don't just go on channels to just hear what they have to say or what price. Now, let me share this with you. I was on Twitter today, on X, sorry, and there was a group of people who were just basically so mad at Trump. They were so mad at President Trump, and they just went on and on and on and on and on, talking about how President Trump has just killed the crypto market. Oh my God, something must be wrong with this man. Oh my. And I'm sitting here, not excited that crypto prices are where I don't want them to be, but excited that I'm doing something that when I go on my platform, I see, I just earned $10. Oh my God. Oh, I just earned $17. Oh, on this one, I just earned, I'm making 4.6%. So when the value is low, I'm not worried because crypto goes up and down. So when you don't have anything else and all you are waiting for is for it to explode in price, I'm telling you, there will be many disappointments. And that is why many people are going to exit, because they can't handle the trauma, the emotional trauma of it going up and down. And they're just like, we were talking about that earlier as well. I'm out of here. I don't want, I'm not doing this anymore. Give me my $10 and I'm gone. And no, you want this to be generational wealth, because these assets, when they begin to move and when utility kicks in, friends, fully, not all this way insurance are testing things. When utility kicks in, it's going to be massive. And I can tell you this without a shadow of a doubt, in my mind, again, not financial advice, is what I see happening. Let me say this. How many of you have come to realize that things that sound like conspiracy theories somehow are becoming true? A lot of them. So, in the same way, when people say, well, there's not going to be an internet, there is an internet, and we've got Web 1, Web 2, and we're now on Web 3, which is the internet of value. And people are still like, oh, I don't think so. I don't want to lose my money. And whatever. See, when everybody and your mom start and your auntie start talking about XRP, we're nearer than when we first began. It's a journey, and we're almost there. Daniel, you're going to say something. Sorry.
And look at the road signs. Yesterday, I saw an article posted that bipartisan support for crypto legislation during the U.S. government shutdown. While they're not supposedly working, the senators are having currently bipartisan sit downs about market structure and the Clarity Act. So and we know ISO date is from MT to MX is a fixed date. So the rails might be laid and they might just do one more pump fake. But when the law's there and the institutions can go without getting sued and pulled into court for deploying their assets, and look at the environment around DeFi with the acquisition of G Treasury. You have Rail. You have Medico. Then you have Evernorth. Evernorth, where you have Chris Larson, who his first company he ever worked for was called eLoan, eMoney Loan, or something like that, and it was for mortgages online and how to get marketplace mortgages. And now with DeFi, I'm kind of thinking this is a perfect culmination because now it has the liquidity, it has different, like R3 Corda has their platform. You have all these things coming together with laws and all the rails of laid. The infrastructure's there. I think it's going to be a very interesting year. And also DeFi learned that because, like Pastor said, when that crypto crash, like the manipulated crash, and it popped back up, like it was a bad week to just like sit there and feel those emotions. So don't let them manipulate your emotions. Don't follow hype channels. Get down into who runs these protocols. Look up who Hugo Filiron is. Look up who Marshall Hayner is. Look up the protocols, the white papers, and test these things yourselves. Because if you want to be your own bank, and because last year when my father passed away, dealing for Wells Fargo and BNY Mellon for certain things, and they don't give you your money, like they owe you money, and then it takes 7 days for it to clear. But if I owed a bill, they wouldn't say, "Hey, give me 7 days to pay it." So it doesn't matter if you had $1 million in the bank and somebody in your family gets sick, Lord forbid, and you need $100,000 with DeFi, you could take that and actually get the instant loan at a low percentage to take care of some emergencies. So I think DeFi is also going to be a way to leverage things in the future, to not over leverage yourself. But hey, if you have emergencies, hey, you don't really need insurance. You can be your own insurance. Hey, I have a house property, it burned down. Let me just take a loan against it and build it back myself. Like there's ways in the future that we can help each other in our community and our family. And even like if you have 5 people in your family and they all have 500 XRP, you could all enter a liquidity fund and earn yield, like instead of an investment property. Things like that for strategies that we'll be talking about in the Patreon.
Wonderful. Let me let me share this with you. So the other day I was just looking, and I will do a comparison. So here is TD Bank in Canada. Okay, so this is your savings. So the standard API is 0.01%. So you work so hard, you put your paycheck in there. There's a bump rate of 0.01. All right, for this amount. Balance needed for APY. You have to leave this amount there, 9,999. Well, if you have $1 million, you get 0.05% as a standard APY, and then the bump rate is 3%. Well, we gotta go find out. So note, annual percentage yields shown as of September 7, 2025 and may vary by region for some products, right? So that's your and then when you come to Wealth Simple, which is also a Canadian company, you see that because they're already integrating, blockchain, they have so many different opportunities for people to actually, you can buy crypto. They started in 2020, you see, and they're backed by some billionaires out here in this our wonderful country. So at the end of the day, friends, I'm just showing you the reality. I mean, think about it. Like if you like you could make more. And the other thing about strategy, remember we're talking about strategy, and we still need to talk about.
Could you bring that chart up for 2 seconds?
All right, no problem.
This is the great point about DeFi, like you're pointing out. Right now, $1 million. So everybody with $1,000, everybody with 1,000 XRP, let's say by 2030, because I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but I'm expecting this year. Let's say 2030. If you have a crypto portfolio of $1 million, I'll give you $30,000 per year in your savings. Versus in DeFi, you can earn 5 to 7% just on the basic asset. And if you have a USDC on Nexo, you can earn 10% safely in certain environments. So they're robbing you while they're lending out your money.
Now, thank you so much. So knowing all of the different, the old system ran on rails that was expensive to maintain, needed a lot of manual labor, right? Why, people watching over it, protection, security, insurance, expensive. One of the most expensive insurance, right? It's not just athletic insurance, it's also financial insurance, insuring the money movers and managers, insuring the people who work there, insuring the bullion vans that move from place to place, ensuring the operations of Swift in the oil industry. Because some of these massive oil, like Shell, like Total, like Elf in those days, no longer, I think they merged with Total Mobile. They have connections directly to Swift to move assets. With of course, with third part, the bank as a third party helping them out, because there's a lot of money in the oil industry. And you talk about the gold industry, diamond, precious metals, all of these things, right? So you're looking at, the old system was expensive, was slow, was clunky, prone to theft. And now you have this system that is immutable. It is, you can see what happens with KYC. You can track anybody who steals anything under a regulated environment. It's quick. It's cheap. Bitcoin couldn't do all this. It's scalable. In fact, the juice is pressed out in the scalability of the system, because it just, it's like a pipe that is expandable. The more water, the more. And this is why it's good. I would recommend that you go watch the movie Elemental, because that's where they talk about, how the stars of the movie is Ember Lumen and Wade Ripple. Released July 2023. Ember Lumen and Wade Ripple. And whatever they show you in movies, they are already telling you what is coming. And it's about this town that had a problem of moving liquidity, water. At the same time, Ember Lumen's father had an antique shop in the basement. The pipes were rotting out, and they were leaky, and they didn't want the inspector, Wade Ripple, to come in and see what was going on. The inspector is Wade Ripple. I want to watch it again. Maybe I should have a watch party and have people come sit with me and we watch it and analyze it. How many of you would like that? Let's analyze the movie together. Because the first time I watched it, there was like maybe 20 people in the theater that could hold maybe, I think maybe 150 to 200 people could be in that theater. But I'm not sure. But it was empty. And some people brought their kids because they thought it was a cartoon. But I was sitting there with my wife and saying, man, they're talking about money, value, moving in the world.
I've never had $1 million in my savings account. But if you were to have $1 million in a savings account in the old system, and you were to walk into TD Bank and say, hey, can I get my $1 million to move to another bank? How long would that take the normal SWIFT system? 4 to 7 days. And they probably try to twist your arm to keep the money in the bank. Oh, that's a bad idea. This is why it's a bad idea. But now with decentralized finance in your hardware wallet, if you want to use your $1 million to invest in this or invest in that, or just hold it in your own thing, you can do what you want. In the US, they have a $10,000 rule. You can't go into the bank and get more than $10,000 cash without the IRS getting alerted. So it's like,
there you go.
It's like,
and honestly,
they treat you like a criminal for your own hard work.
Elemental.
Yes.
The movie is Elemental.
Yes.
Let me bring it up so you guys can see. Just give me 1 second. Elemental. So we should be wrapping up in a few minutes here. So that's the movie. I'm gonna share it.
Thank you for having me on. This has been an honor, Pastor. It's always
no,
good.
no. It's always, this is my second time having you on. Now I have to have Johnny Mata on because he's been screaming when Lambo. So that's it, Elemental. And Tommy, Elemental. That's the movie, guys. It was released in, I believe it was July 2023. And it's a movie that talks about the three elements coming together: fire, water, and I think wind or something like that. But you really have to have known what was coming. Isn't it funny? Look at here. Look what they say here. Are you guys, am I sharing it? Can you guys see it?
Yeah, you're sharing it, Pastor.
Okay, great. Okay. So let's read the let's read the synopsis here. Oh no, I thought I could find that. 1 second. What am I missing? This is supposed to be, again, you don't know whether they've removed that. So on Wikipedia, it says it's an elemental is a. Oh no, come on, that's wrong. Film. So that's I, I thought I could read it on here. It would have been better to actually see it on here, but Elemental is a film about fire and water elements who fall in love in a city of anthropomorphic elements. The film explores themes of identity, culture, and environmentalism and features the voice of Leah Lewis, Mahmoud Athi, and Catherine O'Hara. Well, the stars of the movie are Ember and Wade. Now, look, Ember here is Ember Lumen and Wade Ripple. Go check it out yourself.
Stellar lumens.
Exactly. So they're already telling you where things are going. Hey, Ryan. yes. We're coming, Ryan. Yeah. Thank you. And again, you are able to do these things at a, in all honesty, it's not hard. It's hard when you don't know it, when you don't step in it, when you don't try to check what's going on. But the beauty of it is that you can, again, Ryan, maybe you agree with me. I feel that the doors will close. It's like an arc. It's like what I said yesterday on the members live. You cannot, they will shut the door against the majority of the population. So the earlier people got in, if you're too scared of losing money, well, then investing is not for you. We need to lay hands on you. We need to lay hands on you, because in laying hands on you, you know where to go.
And also, if you're dipping your toes, like we're saying, if you have all you have in XRP or X, if like Bitcoin, whenever that's on Flare, or XRLM when that's on Flare, if you're putting all your digital assets into one platform and you haven't done your due diligence, like why have you invested in those cryptocurrencies to begin with?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And then also, if you're not investigating the DeFi part of it, whenever you value to then off ramp it, if you don't investigate DeFi. And I'm pretty sure most of the people are in cryptocurrency are there for their own management of money. They took the risk because they know how the banking system works. So
exactly. Well, let me see. One more thing that I wanted to talk about before we go. This is important. It's about people being worried that, oh, I can't, I need to get my LLCs. And, I want to just kind of calm down here. If you don't have about 80, 70,000, 100,000 XRP, 50,000 and above, I wouldn't be too worried about that, because again, people are afraid of paying taxes. Listen, the last thing you want to do is to dodge taxes. The last thing you want to do is to play around with taxes. As believers, we give unto Caesar what's Caesar's, but this is what you want to do. You want to make sure that you are, protected, and that you are looking at the costs of what you're doing, so that you keep records, and just be a record keeper. And that would be it. If you don't know it, there is what's that thing for taxes?
Koinly.
Koinly, yes. You can,
I don't have it because I'm not in the stream, but it's in Pastor's description on one of the resources. It's a really good tax app where you just plug in your hardware wallet and it does all the transaction histories.
and don't be scared. Also, it's a read-only thing, right?
Yes.
And please sleep well. Don't, because some people are so worried, so nervous of, oh, I might lose it. And now, you know what shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and lose his own soul? So you shouldn't be afraid of anything happening, because at the end of the day, you will be fine. You will be fine. So fear, actually, Job said something in Job chapter 3 verse 21. Go read it. He said, the thing which I feared has come upon me. So what are you afraid of, right? So if you go into my description, you find Koinly, follow that link and purchase. I also wanted to say, some of you are asking about my you're asking about the what's it, the VPN that I use. I had said I was going to give you a link. I had to get in touch with the company because I don't know what happened with my link. So they gave me a new link, actually, and even gave the deal is 4 months off for those who would want to use that same. So if you do not have a VPN and you would like to use ExpressVPN, they're world renowned. They're good. There's Bitdefender, but I use ExpressVPN at this point. So you're more than welcome to try that out for yourselves and see. So I will put it in the description. But I'm not sure if we have any other questions. Let's read comments and see. Johnny Mata says, you get a Lambo, you get a Lambo, we all get Lambos. Okay. Oh my God. Sonny E says, I appreciate all the words of wisdom, fella. Thank you so much. Tommy says, Johnny, when the pipes burst, then the Lambos will be overflowing. I think Tommy has been born again now over to the Toyota Lambo side. You can't do that. We're Toyota people here. We don't believe in Lambos. Can't wait till the pipes. So Ryan says, get on the ark. I agree with you, sir. My life says, yes, thanks for sharing your knowledge, Daniel. Ryan Listen says, wait on the pastor shows you Metallica's little protocol and the lending platform. Thank you, Ryan. Oh, Tommy, thank you for the $5 US. I appreciate it. Pupunita says, I'm in. You guys saying you're in, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the movie? Somebody type movie if that's what you're talking about. Lifestyle has her popcorn. So we'll do it. I think we should. We should, as a community, just say movie night, and then we'll have to go on another platform so we watch it together. Otherwise, YouTube will smack me. 5.5 for USDG. I'll just buy it, and then share. I think that's what we have to do, and watch it as a family. I'll research that to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong. 5.5 for USDG Kraken. Okay, that's awesome. I'll bring the popcorn, says Chris. Yeah, wow, the interest rates. Yes, people don't think about it. Banks are just like a parking lot. You pay to park your car, and then they actually will rent that car out.
Oh, they drive your car. They'll drive it around while you're in the restaurant.
Exactly, Chris. The bank's loaded out at 7 to 10%. So if you have a retirement account and you have about $100,000 in your retirement account, I want to beg you, stop being afraid of taking money out of it because they're gonna smack your hand. The reason why they smack your hand is because they want you to wait till you're 75. And then you have a walking stick. God forbid. I hope you'll be straight up when you're 75. You see, if you have money, you are likely going to be straight up. Why? Because you take care of yourself. Let me say this. And again, I'm not saying anybody who is not is because they don't. No, we have genetics, we have all kinds of things, health and all that. But the point I want to make is this, guys. Don't be afraid. Let me share a story with you. So when my first home that I bought here about 19, almost 20 years ago, almost 19 and a half years ago, I bought a side-by-side house, one side. And I remember it was $109,000. I had only $5,000 for the down payment. I went and I talked to someone who lent me money. It all worked out. I paid him back over 3 years. I had $11,000, including closing costs. The house became ours. Okay, watch this. But the mortgage was 7.99%. Because I didn't have credit history. I didn't have anybody to vouch for me, nobody to come and put there. But I saw one thing. I saw the amount I was to pay as mortgage. It was less than my rent. Then I had the interest. Sorry, the principal and interest was less than my rent. Then I had what's it called? Taxes and insurance. When I put everything together, it was just a little bit, about $100 above what we're paying for rent. I said, you know what? I will pay that extra 100 to own the property, because if I worked hard and I got extra income, we could pay down our mortgage faster. And it will give me freedom. I could refinance, I could get money, I could get $25,000 out of that property to do things. And I bought it with $20,000 below market price. So let me tell you, it was what, $129.99, but I paid $109,900. Let me tell you. So I took that mortgage. People were like, man, is that your mortgage? Like, I advise you, don't tell people things. Okay. People are going to discourage you. And you start feeling like, man, they're killing me. You're the only one paying that kind of mortgage. Nobody else pays. But the people who are paying 2% didn't have my own experience. Some of them have lived here forever. They have grandparents and whatever who will go to the bank and stand for them and say, use my credit to give my son a mortgage if nothing happens. I don't have that. I'm fighting my way from below. So, I took it. And I tell you what, I was like the man selling oranges in front of the store. And 5 years later, bought the big store. So what I did was, it was 7.99. I became friends with a guy from Congo. We're working together. A Congolese gentleman, speaks French and English, thankfully. So we're communicating in English. And one day he shared with me, said, oh, we're talking. And I said, again, you have to know who you talk to. Not everybody. So, and I shared with him how I bought this house and everything, and I'm trying to buy a rental property. He said, "Man, where did you get all this money?" I said, "Oh, actually, I learned how to refinance and all that." He says, "Really? How do you do that?" So then he said, "Oh, what are you paying for your mortgage?" I told him. He says, "Well, why don't you go to this bank?" And here, I won't name names, but he gave me a card. He said, "This is the woman there. She's from such and such a country. She would help you out." So I went there. I had called in for an appointment. I went. She says, "Oh, yeah, when do you?" She says, "Oh, I can help you. I'll give you the manager's rate. You're paying 7.99 now. If you cancel, there's going to be a penalty." But let me tell you, guys, the penalty plus the rate she gave me. Somebody guess what rate I got? I got 1.06%. Man, she called it the manager's rate.
That's amazing.
If I hadn't taken the first leap, paying what I was $100 above my rent at 7.99 after my down payment and all that, closing costs, everything, I would never have gotten. You have to take the first step. And guess what? This is a real estate experience that because it's about principles. Exactly. You can port that into your present environment, and we should not be afraid to take those steps. Daniel said earlier he took a little portion. We had this conversation. I just asked him today, let's get on together and we're talking about researching into certain things, and we're just working together. And then suddenly I said, "Hey, get on live with me today. Let's talk," because I was going to talk about DeFi and cryptos. And I said, "All right, crypto strategies with Daniel." Daniel, I want you to talk about, before we go, it's about an hour, 16 minutes. Let's talk about the LLC thing and your thoughts about it, why people shouldn't be too worried if they have less than a certain amount of crypto. And let's hear you and your experience, please. Thank you.
Not legal advice. Can you hear me, Pastor?
Yes.
Yes, not legal advice. But what I would do is like anything under like $50,000 in US dollar value. I mean, you can look at an LLC, know what they are, know what they do. Anything above it, look into it. But honestly, if you have less than that, if you're spending $2,000 to $3,000, my thought process on this is, if you're spending $2,000 on an LLC and you have less than $50,000 in crypto, you're missing out on buying $2,000 worth of XDC is like 40,000 XDC. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could don't spend that amount of money on an LLC and miss out buying good cryptos if you're not in that position. But if you have a lot of stuff, then do it. The reason that I would say that is because think about your LLC as a business, which it is, because through a DeFi, once your assets go up, your LLC in DeFi, it's the same thing. It's your company growing your assets. And then it also gives protection. And then also that just gives you more options on the other side of that. But the legality of it, I would look into. I don't use Jake Claver's services for like the digital asset group, but I like the fact that he does offer like LLC things. So if you can go through him or other people who offer similar things in like Wyoming or Nevada, or look into your other country you're in. I'm American, so I can only speak for an American. Like Wyoming, Nevada, Texas, something without state taxes would be smart. That way, yeah, something like that.
I think I'm frozen.
No, you're frozen.
Can you see? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can. I don't. I
But
can't
from
see you
YouTube,
guys.
yeah.
If you can, you see me? Hey.
Can you hear me?
Well, you have to close it. I think I'm frozen. Something's wrong with my internet.
No, it's okay. We got talking about how to protect their stuff, and then YouTube they came in timeout.
I can't see you guys. Okay, I have it on my phone right now. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
But am I moving? Like my hand moving?
Sure. You're not frozen on my end.
Well, you have to close it. I think I'm frozen. All right. Well,
it's okay. We got talking about how to protect their stuff. Oh yeah, so it's a little lag on the YouTube side.
Okay, so there you go. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna. So for those of you, okay, he says, Chris says, I can. I can hear both of you and see you. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go on my, give me a second here. I'm just going to put the, so for those of you who are asking about the Express VPN, that's what I was going to give you. And then this thing began to misbehave. So if you can still hear me, I can actually hear myself, but my laptop is frozen. So it might be a laptop problem. I won't blame YouTube yet.
But that's also why DeFi is important, because if you're putting your assets into an LLC, that is a business. So your business should be earning revenue. DeFi as a strategy, if you put a portion of that into DeFi, your company, you can earn revenue and pay yourself. So if your assets appreciate, you can pay yourself through your company.
Correct.
That's the benefit of DeFi versus just owning an LLC that just holds assets and does nothing with them whatsoever. You can't lend them out. You can't borrow against them. You can't get anything other than just holding it safely. You'd still have to go to the banks and ask them for everything. And if they don't like you because you wore a gray hoodie instead of a business down tie, they can do whatever they want.
Okay, I just posted the Express VPN. Like I said, I can't see you on my laptop. It's basically crashed. I don't know what happened here, but so I won't blame YouTube. But I just posted it. So I know Johnny, you had asked for this. Chris, you had asked for it, but if you already have it, that's fine. So I had to go to the company. I actually have a partnership with them right now. But then you get 4 months off or whatever, but you can use that if you want, if you so choose. Or you could go to Bitdefender. I don't do anything with them, but yeah. DeFi is not tricky, Jay Mirza. Just like it's not tricky. It's if you don't know it, then you don't know it. It's wash, rinse, and repeat. Just like opening a wallet on any platform, it's wash, rinse, repeat. To be honest with you, that's what it is. I would say that much for DeFi. I don't know if you agree with me there, Daniel, but Jay
Yes,
was saying it's a tricky space. Go ahead.
it is tricky, but that's my point. Like when I'm first starting, I put such a small amount. I put 100 XRP into there at first. If I lost that, I would have cried, but it wouldn't have ruined my world. And now that I know the protocols and I know everything in there, and I dipped my feet in there for 2 weeks, like $200 at that point, I was like, oh man, I got $4. Or like it wasn't $4, but it was like I had 40 cents or after the first day. And I was like 40 cents times 365 with that amount. And I'm like, okay, if you have $1 million, like you don't have to always have $1 million. You have to start with a mindset of what you're at. If you have $1,000, you can only do $1,000. But that's the thing. If you're earning 5% of $1 million versus 5% of 1,000, you're still earning 5% of something.
That's right.
And you're learning the processes of it. So whenever it comes, the Lord's prepared you to handle how to borrow, how to lend against safely with a small amount. He who's faithful with little can then dump into later principles. And that's not just with finance, that's with anything.
And that's what happens also when you're trading, right? When people do these longs and these things, people haven't still learned. People are still leveraging as we speak. So there's a greed problem, there's an impatience problem, and people approach crypto that way. You've got to calm your mind. You've got to learn the first principles of crypto. Number one, no greed. Number two, patient. Number three, no, in number one, you can't time the top, you can't time the bottom. Get in, make your investment. Somebody said something. He says set buy limit orders for 70% of the top, and you will catch at some point because crypto goes up and down. But I must say this: with stable coins in the ISO category, ISO 222 category, we're going to see cryptos that will be at a high price and won't come down because they're designed to move value in this new system, and they're not just going to crash. No way. They will stay there. And yeah, but then there's other cryptos and there's other AI coming up, gaming cryptos, all kinds of things. But in the time being, we're where we are. We're learning what we can. And I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining. I don't know if Daniel has any last words Let me see the comments to see if there's any questions
Yeah,
at all.
and my first thought was start with, I don't know anybody's portfolio. Start with 2% of your portfolio in DeFi for the first week. Just try it, and then you'll learn the steps. Like, hey, learning how to walk. And then if you do like the kinetic, you're only doing it in a safe environment where you're not going to lose it. You're not leveraging against it. It's not like whenever people are doing the longs and the shorts and doing all the leverage. By simply putting 1,000 XRP and earning 4% into kinetic, you're locking it up and it's providing liquidity, and you're getting rewards off of that. And then if you want to withdraw, it can withdraw within your wallet within 3 to 5 seconds. You get all of that back. But you wouldn't know that until you try. Or even like there's a YouTube channel called Flare Forward, and it's like somebody who literally goes through Flare and shows you how to do the things like on there with the dashboards. So it's like, do the extra steps, do the research. You've already found XRP, you've already found XLM, you've already found XDC. You're within the 1% of the 1%, within the 1% of the world who actually has a conviction to own the assets. So take the extra steps. That's my challenge.
All right. So thanks. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is that it says, James, I said, I could be wrong, but I see it somewhat differently. Yeah. You could tell us what you see, and we could probably learn from that. Jay says also, I get what you mean. I have my own opinion of it, and that's why I'm somewhat skeptical about leverage and DeFi. Well, leverage is simply borrowing based on what you have for more, but it's just risky because people go too far out of greed. But when you buy a house, you got to leverage. You get 20% down or 10% down, then you borrow the rest from the bank. Every business, all industries, people who manufacture things always use leverage. That's why you got to have skin in the game. Then the banks come along and give you whatever. With DeFi, I will say to people, you can't buy something that is a digital asset and be concerned or worried about going an extra step. It's like you're already on an aircraft and you're thinking of getting off, you know. So the train has left the station. Investigate it, learn it, so that we're not left behind. The wheels are churning. It's not difficult to learn, but like Daniel says, how do you stay safe if you're concerned? How do you stay safe if you are worried about losing you don't lose everything. You don't bet the farm. You put a little bit in and you learn the tricks. So if you lose that little bit, well, you're fine. You know what I mean?
And
Uh,
that's also something too where I would never put all of it into one protocol before laws, and
yes.
even after the laws, I would never put into one protocol, because also, like, the
Sorry,
not
Jay, go ahead and share your thoughts.
my
We'll
bad.
give you. We have a few more minutes. Go ahead and share your thoughts, Jay, and I'll just we'll respond. Go ahead. But Daniel, say what you're saying. Finish your thoughts. Sorry.
Yes, because on the standpoint of putting it all into a platform or all into that, I mean, yes, I agree with that. That's not the wisest thing to do. On the standpoint of, like, look at Vivo Power, Jay Mezer. That's my only, like Vivo Power, and then look at Evernorth.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jeb McCaleb, he owns crazy amount, hundreds of millions of XRP. He took 50 million XRP, gifted it to this company so they can do institutional DeFi into that. And there's
You mean Chris Larson? Chris
Chris
Larson.
Larson. Sorry, not Jeb McCaleb. He's stellar. He's also, yes. My bad. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No.
But yes, Chris Larson, he gave 50 million XRP to Evernorth, and then the CEO of Evernorth is on the board of Ripple, and they're doing institutional DeFi. So, and Larry Fink, all these people are pointing to institutional DeFi. So, investigate it.
Yes. When you see, there's something called the movement of money. Now, I want. Okay. I want to say one thing. Can you guys still hear me? What I want to say is this. um, why is it that the media is not talking about DeFi? Why aren't they talking about all these things that has billions? I just showed you $65 billion in Aave, a DeFi platform. And look at F assets. They already have $46 million. Minted.
And Pastor, on the
Yes.
Aave website, it had J.P. Morgan, the Central Bank of Brazil, the 10th largest economy. You
Correct.
amo Brazil. You amo Brazil. I came on saying boa tarde. They have the Central Bank of Brazil. They have J.P. Morgan Chase. They have all of these platforms in institutional DeFi that are already deploying and using these protocols. Do your research because I know you're smart, Jay Mazer. I know you are because you already investigate all the other cryptos you're in. Just investigate these platforms just like you did with the cryptos.
Yes,
And
exactly. So here's the big fear.
yeah,
So Jay
investigate the
says,
platform just like you did the cryptos.
so
Ask
Jay,
who runs it, what they use, all
exactly.
everything. Don't just like trust that I said it and put your money. Look
Wa-
who Flare is, what they do, all the white papers. Read it just like you did with XRP.
Wash, rinse, repeat. So here's the thing. Jay says, to be honest, between leverage and DeFi, we see the FUD, misinformation, and manipulation that comes in play with 1%. What happens if you lock assets to leverage and DeFi? So that's exactly what I just said. We can't move forward in fear. We have to move forward in faith. I don't want to buy a piece of land and just hold it forever and not do anything with it. I'm probably going to rent it out, build a rental apartment there, or ask trailers to park in. I won't buy land that doesn't have any use. So I want to own assets that would help me move along. Now, if people think, oh, they're just, they're just trying to rug pull me. They're just, yeah, I know. With Luna, with Link2, with these are all the risks of doing business. So the question is, of my assets, what portion can I risk? You have to, everything is a risk. Taking a job in a certain building and all that is a risk. What if the building explodes in fire one day because somebody forgot to turn off, a cooker in the kitchen basement, and the gas came up, no, not gas, what do you call it? The propane blew up, and there was a big fire, and that's when people are in the, God forbid. So, yeah, hey, Courtney, how you doing? So um, we have to look at risk as a necessity of life, but here's the one question I'll ask before we go to the end. This is this: if the media is not talking about something that's happening in the world that has billions and billions of dollars in it, CNBC is not talking about DeFi, I'm interested in it. Because when they're pointing everybody to Bitcoin, they talk about Bitcoin like, man. And people who don't have $1,000 in Bitcoin will come online and be arguing how Bitcoin is the king. Bitcoin is the king, but they don't have $1,000. They buy because somebody says, if all you need is 0.20 Bitcoin, 0.20, that is 20,000. Work hard to get $20,000 in Bitcoin, and you are set for life. I don't know why people should believe that. What about owning 1,000,000 units of XPR? It's only 4,000. And if it becomes 50 cents, which it will get to, that's where you go.
Because also the thing about XPR, which this also I never understood DeFi because of the standpoint of like on the Flare, which I liked, and it's not the rug pull when the institutions get in because the reward setup of Flare. Whenever you actually look at how people are rewarded, they're not rewarded for putting in $10 million, getting the rewards, and pulling the money out. So one of the things that Flare specifically does through the Kinetic Act, they do RFLR. And Pastor, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you're earning 6 to 7%. It's been varying, but 6%. And
Now it's 5.02 today.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
so 5%. So if you had $1,000,000 in assets at 5% a year, that's $50,000 per year. Do the math. And
Yeah,
that's not even you risking it. You didn't leverage it. You didn't borrow anything whatsoever. So you can't get liquidated and they take your assets.
exactly. Exactly.
If you were to then say you do risk management like a bank officer would, a risk manager, you have the $1,000,000, you take half of that $1,000,000 within Kinetic, half of it, $500,000 earning 5%. That is $25,000 a year. And
Correct.
you take the other $500,000, you borrow against 250,000 at 2% a year. I'm not doing the math, but
That's it.
you're only paying back like 250 7,000, something like that. $260,000 at the end of the year, and you can earn 4 to 10% on 250,000. You're earning that back. You pay the difference, and you've probably made like 60,000 in a year through DeFi without even risking your assets. Or you're risking them, but you're not heavy risking. You're not earning 17% yield or 99% APY. Like, you have a balanced risk portfolio.
That's right.
That's
That's one of the things that
that's the best way to put it, Jay Mazer.
That's one of the things that, and because of the kind of agreements, working agreements that have blockchain to blockchain, you go somewhere and you find that Solana
vested rewards. Sorry. So if you take out that vested rewards before the year, it's a 50% haircut. So it incentivizes people to have $1 million in to wait till it vests to the end of the year while you're earning other ways. Sorry, Pastor.
No, that's fine. I was just, yeah, that's okay. We're it's a great conversation so far. But what I wanted to say was, just in looking at everything though, if you have, Jay says you can take the right steps. If government decides to leverage assets and crypto to cut down the multi-trillion-dollar debt, everyone in is in a bad space because yeah, then don't do it, Jay. Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. We are doing it. You don't have to. Like if you really have those worries, don't do it. Like we have said, we're doing what we're doing to get we're putting a little bit of what we have in and not everything. That's my suggestion to people. But if you're worried that the government is going to kill everybody who's in it, I mean, and then you lose your money, then don't do it. Just keep your money in the what's it called, in your wallet. And here's the good news: it's going to go up, right? In my book I talk about the 3-bag strategy or 4-bag strategy. You divide your assets into a few bags and then make a decision how you're going to use it. But I can't operate in fear, because I remember when I was younger, somebody said something to me. He said, well, she told me about somewhere I was going to get a job deal. We had signed. I just had to go and it'll be fine. No, sorry, we hadn't signed. I was going to go sign and it was mine for the taking. I pulled away because of what she said and I didn't go in. My competitor got that job a week later. They waited for me. They called me. I didn't pick up my phone. And that was one of my biggest regrets. And also, I remember when the Lord showed me something that was about to come nationally. It had to do with cell phone technology. I told people this on one of my lives. I had a video where I shared that experience as well, that I realized that when there's a major change in the economy, the Lord will reveal it to people. But there are two things that are going to be operating at the same time: faith and fear. And so fear will paralyze you, but faith will make you investigate. Look at what this guy says here. Courtney, Life Journey and Perception, says risk is life. Risk is a whole philosophy. No success happens without it. Calculated risk through diligence is the key. The people who started flying planes, who were jumping off cliffs, trying to fly and everything, until they were able to put a man in the air, the people who didn't believe laughed at them. They said it was never going to happen. So, my suggestion to you guys, if you're interested, is take a little bit of what you have and try it out and see how it goes. But never be greedy to try to do everything or make whatever. So, all right. My life says you can do DeFi with a small amount of your assets. If something happens, then it doesn't greatly affect you. Correct. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. This has been great. Almost 2 hours in conversation. I want to say have a lovely weekend, everybody. It's been a great Friday. It was last 2 days I wasn't on. I was fine. I just wasn't on, and I forgot to put on. Somebody say no video today. So for those of you who are used to me coming on live in the afternoons or in night or early morning, sorry you didn't see me, but sometimes it's going to be that way. But please look for me.
I have one question for you, Pastor. When Lambo?
If you keep asking when, don't ask for Lambo. Actually, if you do DeFi, the Lambo may come quicker. Yes, exactly. All right. Thank you, Sonny E. Thank you, Lifestyle. God bless everyone there. Bye-bye.